In this video, we are looking at the portfolio of Terry Smith. It is the middle of November, and right now it is possible to see what super investors bought during the third quarter of 2022. And Terry Smith is a famous British investor that I follow. He managed to beat the S&P 500, so it is really interesting to see what stock he bought and what stock he sold during the previous quarter. So we will look at what approximate price he bought or sold these stocks, and then we will look at some of the fundamentals of these stocks. So let's get started. First of all, if you want to get updates about the portfolios of super investors, or you have other stock investment ideas, please write in the comments below. Okay, Terry Smith is a super investor from Britain that I follow. He managed to beat the S&P 500. He is the author of the book Investing for Growth, which compiles his annual letter to shareholders. Highly recommend to read it. A lot of valuable insights. So right now it is the middle of November, and it is possible to see what super investors bought during the previous quarter. So if a fund has more than 100 million in assets, he has to disclose what stocks he owns through 13F filings. So to see what stocks owned by super investors, you can use the Edgar search on the sec.gov. You type the name of the fund, which you have to know in advance. The other choice is to use services like Dataroma, which compiles this information in much more simpler way. So if we look at the portfolio of Terry Smith, we can see that his portfolio is centered around 20 core positions. So he has other stocks, but they represent less than 2% of his portfolio. So what I'm interested at his high conviction bets. And if we sort his portfolio by changes to portfolio, we can see that his main addition was OTIS worldwide. It represents close to 2% of his portfolio, while PayPal still represents 2% of his portfolio, but he reduced his position close to 40%. So next, let's look at these two stocks, PayPal and OTIS worldwide. Okay, first let's look at PayPal. We can see that it's from the financial services sector. The market cap is close to 100 billion. We don't know at what price Terry Smith sold his shares in PayPal, but we know that the maximum price during the third quarter was close to $100 per share. It is very likely that he sold lower, but this was the maximum price. So I believe that the investor is so good that he was able to sell at the maximum price. If we look at some of the numbers of PayPal, we can see that it has close to 10.8 billion in cash and close to 11.4 billion in debt. This includes long-term debt and short-term debt. So the net debt is close to 500 million. They don't pay a dividend, and they have return on invested capital of close to 7%. So Terry Smith uses return on invested capital as a measure how good is the company. They also have gross margins of close to 43%. We can see that the gross margins are decreasing for the last years, and we also can see the operating margins at close to 14%, which are also decreasing compared to the previous years. If we look at some of the valuation metrics, we can see that they have price to free cash flow of close to 18. So this is trailing 12-month price to free cash flow. Terry Smith uses free cash flow yield as a valuation metric. So this is the vice versa of this metric. If we look at the next 12-month free cash flow yield, we can see that currently it is close to 6%. So previously for PayPal, we saw a much higher growth rate, and right now the growth rate is slowing down. So this is visible in their numbers. But personally, I believe the reason why he reduced his position in PayPal wasn't the valuation. Usually it's something in the company's fundamentals. So it will be very interesting to read his annual letter to shareholders, which is usually available in January. So it will be very interesting to read the reasoning why he reduced his position in PayPal. Okay, while he reduced his position in PayPal, OTIS worldwide is his main addition. We can see that it's from the industrial sector. They produce elevators. Their market cap is close to 32 billion. The lowest price during the third quarter was close to $64 per share. It is very likely that he bought even higher. But again, this was the minimum price. I believe that super investor is so good that he was able to purchase the shares at the lowest price during the quarter. But again, it is very likely that he bought even higher. We can see that they have net debt of close to 5.8 billion. They are paying a dividend of close to 1.4%. They have a payout ratio of close to 35%. which is lower than 50%, which is something I want to see in a dividend stock. If we look at the return on invested capital, we can see it is close to 57%. What is return on invested capital? It is net income divided by capital, which is equity plus debt. And we can see that OTIS has negative equity. So this is why they have such a high return on invested capital. So maybe return on invested capital isn't the best metric in this case. Maybe we can use return on assets, which is close to 13%. We also can see that they have stable gross margins of close to 28% and even increasing operating margins of close to 15%. If we look at some of the valuation metrics, we can see that they have price to free cash flow of close to 26. Again, this is trailing 12-month free cash flow. If we look at the free cash flow yield, next 12-month free cash flow yield, we can see that it is close to 5%. OTIS is a spin-off, so that is why the data is available only for 2 years. Okay, we looked at PayPal. So PayPal is a stock that he reduced his position around 40% during the previous quarter. We looked at OTIS Worldwide, his main addition during the previous quarter. This is the new stock that he bought. It will be very interesting to read his annual letter to shareholders when he describes his logic behind his purchases. So usually it's available in January, so approximately in 1.5 months. Also, OTIS is a spin-off, and there is a research that shows that spin-offs tend to outperform both their parent company and the S&P 500. So here is the video. If you are not subscribed to the channel, you can do this by pressing the button right here. You will not miss a single new video. Thank you very much for watching till the end, and see you in the next video.